So let's get right into it. Title new book. It's true that our world is full of a lot of hurt. So what do you mean about everything that doesn't matter? What a great statement.
Yeah, we've encountered, we've behaved this way ourselves. And of course, we've encountered it with friends, family, and pretty much every human being we've ever hung around, is that we do put aspects of life into kind of a category. Well, it doesn't matter that much, And I think as we've aged and grown as followers of Jesus, we've just come to believe, that's just not true. Absolutely, what we might consider the smallest things matter. And that more and more we're convinced of this a concept of really kind of a cosmic non-neutrality, where we're either moving towards good or moving away from good. And so we both kind of in our own study individually and then together just have embraced that there's just no small people, there's no small things, and that everything matters. And so that's really at the heart of this book.
Yes. Yeah. We first had to come to understand just a theology that all of life matters to God. And so that's kind of the heart of, if all of life matters to God, then all of life matters to us. And so the lives that we're given, all the parts, all the big parts, all the small parts, all the in-between parts, that really breathes a lot of meaning. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that everybody matters.
Yes, that's right.
And there's so many things, I think, in our culture that have been canceled, if we want to use that word, or that just, people looked, and I guess probably it's been going in the world from early on, but it seems like in our world today, since we have social media and we know everything that everyone does, when they do it or just a few seconds after they do it, that it's a tendency to write people off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we make less and less meaning of everything these days because it's happening so fast and we're receiving so much information. So that's one phenomenon that we live with and obviously struggle with.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So with hurt and brokenness, is there hope for each of us where we can contribute to repairing our marriages, our families, ourselves, and then the big picture of the world?
Yeah.
We really do believe that the redemption of Christ is just ongoing. We've seen so much in our lives of just repair of relationships, repair in our marriage, repair between, with our parents, with friends. And so we have a lot of hope that Jesus is always at work and always, doing that large work of redemption in our time and in our places and in the lives that we're given. And we both have these people who have influenced us, along the way. And one of the things we learned early on was from Francis Schaeffer, and we take that, we keep that in our hearts. There are no little places and no little people. And then Mother Teresa's do small things with great love. So I think the hope inside of the lives we actually have is that, we have however long our life is as we live it to God, and we kind of open our hands and say, Lord, we don't know how to repair or what to do with our anger or what to do with the things that causes so much hurt. But we open our hands and we say, show us how, do it, do the good work inside of us, help us to reach out and do the good work as we can, help us to know what that is. And it really does tend to be often one person at a time, or and over a long period of time too. Oftentimes it's a slow work, and sometimes we don't get to see We don't get to see the fruit. We don't get to see something tied up really tightly with a nice, happy bow. Yeah, even in your lifetime. But
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it hasn't contributed to good.
Yeah. Or, that we don't know the stories that continue after we do and what those things might look like. So
absolutely, that we sow seeds, I guess. And
yeah.
Trust I mean, God we see that so much in the arts, but we forget to apply it to our own individual lives. So we can all, look at Van Gogh's sunflowers and say, oh, wow, that still has meaning today. And I love that. I'm going to buy that print and, put it in our sunroom and all of that kind of thing. And Van Gogh doesn't know anything about that.
Exactly.
Right. But it's here. It's all these years later, these artists continue to have influence. Well, I believe the same thing happens with everyone's lives, and that good is by its nature because of the way, because of who God is, and what God is embedded in creation, that good is generative, and that you can't outgood good. I mean, it just, you contribute it, and you don't need to worry about the metrics. You just need to worry about your own personal story and the story of your family and your immediate community and whatever you're given stewardship over. And if people will remember that, for example, if you and I we focus on our families and the good that we try to do, imagine 8 billion people doing that. And that's, now we can talk about metrics and we can say, okay, in our own individual way, there's 8 billion of us doing some good and making the world that we want to live in. And that's a powerful idea.
It is. And I think that it goes back to what I talk about with couples and marriage all the time. The only thing you can do something about is you or your marriage.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
You can't wait for your next door neighbor or somebody on the other side of the world to do something. It's us taking those steps individually, and hopefully it's contagious with the people that are around us.
Absolutely.
And it begins to grow. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
You said something, Andi, couple of minutes ago, and just talking about the repairing that you've seen in your marriage. Can y'all talk a little bit about that and that application?
Oh, sure. Well, we've been married since we were 18 and 19.
Wow.
And we were high school sweethearts before that. So it's been a long life of knowing each other and being married.
We've been together for 52 years.
Yeah. So I've heard it said, and I know you know this, that within a long marriage, you have several different marriages inside that one long one, right?
Yes.
And so I'm not sure what we would both think we're on right now. We might be in our third or fourth.
I was going to say fifth.
Yeah. So you have different stages and different seasons, and yeah, I think we would both say that this right now is a time where we both, we feel more in tune with each other than we ever have before. We're more accepting of our differences, more accepting of both who each other is, who God has made us to be, who we are inside, what our personalities, our gifts, the things we enjoy. Maybe the other person don't. But we have had different times of life where we have really worked at that. Or maybe we have been on, crash and burn, and we went and got help. We went to marriage counseling. We went to therapy. We, we each brought a lot of difficult things into our marriage just inside of ourselves.
That's it.
Because we already had so many things that had formed and shaped us and hurt us that we had no really not very much knowledge of when we were 18 and 19, like how those things were going to affect us all the way into.
Still affecting.
Yeah, all the way through life. And And so, it's a long work, but it really is something you can't really ignore it, or you ignore it to everybody's detriment, including children, grandchildren, anybody who comes after you. So we really are strong believers in getting as much help as you can along the way.
You fought for it. You come up against a wall like we all do, and
Exactly.
I think we have a choice to make. We either fight for it or we walk away. And you guys are living proof that when you fight for it, good things come out of it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, so we write pretty honestly about that. We do have a chapter on marriage in our book, and just, I think it helps people when we're all honest about that. It helps other people not feel alone and feel like, even if you're older, you do still have to fight for it, and you do also, but you also do get to experience the fruit of having fought for it, or continuing to ask the Lord to change us and make us better together, and and do the hard things of asking Him to help us forgive when we don't have that inside of us to be able to do, and just all those changes that are really so huge that we as human beings, we just don't have that much power within ourselves often to do those big, hard internal works. But I know that God does. He does that for us and with us, and in continuing ways as well. And we have seen that. We have, evidence of that, but also that we're still on the road, and there's no perfection, and it's all proximate. We love to hold on to that word that we live,
Proximate.
Yeah, in God's grace. Proximate, never perfection, never done, never finished, never, all tied up, but on the road together, hand in hand.
Yes. And I think that's hard for us in our culture, because I agree with you 100%. And we want a formula.
Yeah.
That's
so
gonna,
true.
okay, give me 10 things, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
If I do those 10 things. And it is, I love that you said that, because it is a process. I mean, Nancy and I have been married 54 years now, and it's, I think we came to a realization maybe around our 50th anniversary that our marriage, we love what we fought through. We love where it is today, but we have to keep working at it. You just can't quit working at it, because when you do, just, I don't know, too much of that humanness comes out in us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's like that with, I guess, most relationships, isn't it? They're not easy. We do fight for them all. We're,
yes,
to just slide, but none of us can really slide. We do need to be so intentional and just know that it's not surprising that relationships are, beautiful and enjoyable and full of joy, but also can have their really hard patches.